All right, this is Jay Bird Boxing. We're here to break down Berchelt versus Valdez. Berchelt is a tall, long, rangy fighter. He likes to use his jab from the outside, but Berchelt does have that Mexican warrior spirit in him. So a lot of times in his fights, they're very exciting because you see him in the mid-range or in the pocket. And Berchelt uses his long arms as an advantage. So if he's in mid-range, the way he uses his arms as an advantage is he's able to bring those long arms around his opponent's high guard because he has that versatility. He's really good on going around the guard, going up the middle, and throwing that left hook to the body. And he's very accurate for that reason. So when we see Berchelt in wars, more often than not, we see him outlining his opponent. And Berchelt typically has really high accuracy. He's not just winging shots with his eyes closed just because he has that tool. But it kind of works against him because if you're a tall, long, rangy fighter, ideally you want to stay on the outside and throw your hard shots because Berchelt does have power with that straight right hand, but he just has that tendency to go mid-range and in the pocket. Defensively, what he does to compensate this is usually when he's in the pocket, he likes to shove his shoulder against his opponent's shoulder and push him back. And when his opponent throws a hook, he just leans back. Since he's so tall, he's able to, be able to have enough distance to pull away from shots without getting caught. He does get hit here and there, but more often than not, he's able to evade his opponent's punches and be able to outland his opponents.
Guys, as for Oscar Valdez, obviously I have to be the example because he will be the shorter fighter this Saturday night. And with him is that he's a defensive fighter. He likes to move on his back foot and pick his shots. He does carry power, so Berchelt better be careful when he gets into the mid-range to a pocket game. Valdez is going to be very patient, moving off his back foot, waiting for those counters that are going to be there for him to land. The thing is, like we said, Berchelt likes to engage at mid-range pocket as well, so that will make it a very exciting fight. As for Valdez, he does, like I said, he carries power, he's accurate, and, when Berchelt wants to get into the mid-range pocket, this is where Valdez is going to counter with those hooks. Boom, boom, and he likes to go to the body too, and it's just, it's just calling for a very exciting night, man.
Yeah, and as Berchelt's defense, to elaborate a little bit more on it, I did mention that he likes to shove and pull back. He does use his waist at times, but there are times where he relies too much on the high guard. So what do I mean by that? Sometimes it seems it happens to a lot of fighters where they put a tight high guard and they don't really see where the punches are coming from because they're just looking at the fighters. Yeah, they're looking down the middle. And they anticipate the punches. They're not really seeing, but they anticipate from all the rounds they do in sparring. They know the fighter's tendencies and things of that nature. But that leaves them vulnerable. If you see some of his fights, he's not all, I would say, nimble in the mid-range. He does use his waist, but not enough. And also, when he throws his long-range shots, like I said, he does have that Mexican spirit in him. So when he throws his long-range shots, he throws them in multiple combinations sometimes if he wants to cause damage. But the problem is he doesn't throw multiple combinations from the outside. He starts from the outside, but then he starts coming on the inside. And since he's fully committed to all of his shots, he doesn't think defense first. So he's throwing his hard punches, but his hands are sometimes down, and then Valdez does throw that counter left hook. And Valdez isn't a punk. He's there to stand his ground, and if Berchelt's falling in, Valdez will land his occasional left hook, and then the fight's going to get crazy. When I say crazy, it's going to get very, very exciting. There's going to be a lot of combustion because even though Valdez fights off his back foot, yeah, he stands his ground when he feels an opponent is coming in to try and basically push him back or punk him. Yeah, so he stands his ground. And since it's a lighter division, activity is usually a lot higher than, let's say, the light heavyweight, the cruiserweight, or the heavyweight division. So there's going to be a lot of punches being thrown. Berchelt said he's coming in for the knockout, and Valdez,
Knowing Valdez, bro, he's not a punk, he's no slouch. He's going to be there to go to war with Berchelt, man. And like you said, man, it's just, it's brewing for a war, bro. So everybody, get your towels ready. Get everything ready because that blood's about to come out your screens and everything, man. Oh, man.
What are the odds for the fight?
Berchelt's actually 3-1 favorite, and Valdez is a 2-1 underdog, 2.5 around there, which is reasonable, right?
Yeah, it's reasonable. You got to favor Berchelt because Valdez has been in tough fights. Berchelt has had how many title defenses?
6, man.
Yeah, 6.
5, 6. Yeah.
5 or 6. He's been looking good. There's no reason to doubt him, even though he has, gotten into those wars and falls into mid-range and the pocket doesn't utilize his long range. His chin has been able to hold up against his opponents. He has been hurt here and there, so Valdez could drop him and he could win by knockout. That is a possibility, but Berchelt's chin has held up through all the wars. But what gets him out of it, I want to reiterate this, what gets him out of it is not that fact that he has a Margarito chin, is the fact that he's able to outland his opponents more often than not because he utilizes his long arms really well. So if we're both going to war, but I'm outlanding you and I have hard shots, chances are you're going to break down before I do. So it's not the fact that Berchelt has a Margarito type of chin, it's the fact that he's able to outland his opponents even in the mid-range and in the pocket with power. So his opponent starts breaking down. As soon as they start breaking down, Berchelt starts to pile it on more, and then that usually leads to a stoppage. So I got Berchelt, I would say by late TKO 10. That's kind of hard to say because Valdez is a tough fighter.
He ain't no punk, bro.
Yeah, he's not a punk. He's undefeated. Valdez does have the power to drop Berchelt anytime, but I think most people do favor Berchelt. If you're going to drop money, I probably would probably stay away from this fight just because of the odds. 3-1 is not going to get you much unless you're going to parlay it with a fight. If you want to bet on Valdez, you can do that. He does have a pretty good, chance of winning. I'd say the fight is about
like
65-35, would you say? Or
nah, bro. I think the fight was like a 55-45. Just the fact that Berchelt has been hurt before. He might feel overconfident that he's gonna outwork the smaller Valdez. And like we said, bro, Valdez ain't no slouch, he ain't no punk. He might hit him with the left hook, and that might fucking turn the tables, bro, all the way around. And maybe Berchelt doesn't feel comfortable no more. He's hurt, and Valdez is gonna go in for the kill. And he might not get him out of there, but he's gonna put that pressure on Berchelt if Berchelt's not careful. And
they both have power.
They both have power.
Both
That's
have power.
the thing.
They can both go down. But like I said, you got to favor Berchelt. I personally wouldn't bet on someone that I think is going to lose, even though I think Valdez has a good shot. But
yeah.
if you're risky out there, you drop a little bit on Valdez. It is 3-1, 3-1 odds, so it might be a little fun. What do you think?
You know what, bro? You know what I think personally, man. Berchelt has been in wars. He's been against fighters that like to come forward, stand their ground, and fight with them. But these fighters don't necessarily know how to move off their back foot and wait for opportunities to counter on Berchelt. So that's the thing that had me thinking about Oscar Valdez, that he's gonna be moving on his back foot, and he's gonna get that slight moment where, boom, he's dropping that left hook, that right hook, and if he feels any type of way where he's gonna engage in a war, I feel like he's gonna stay defensively minded more often than not, and not really engage with Berchelt. But that's where Berchelt's gonna most likely win the battle from the outside. So it's
even if there's a war on the inside, Berchelt's still gonna outland Valdez.
Yeah.
Even though he's gonna get caught with those hard counter shots that may stun him here and there, I think Berchelt has that unique ability to be able to outland his opponents in mid-range in the pocket, and he does have power in all his shots. So Berchelt will land. I mean, Valdez will land his shots, but I think Berchelt at the end of the day will just outland him, and he's going to be able to pull off a victory.
Yeah, nah, but personally, bro, in all honesty, man, I see a late stoppage as well. 11th, 12th round, man.
By Berchelt?
TKO by Berchelt. Even though he'll get cracked, it's just his work rate, bro. Like you said, man, he's just got a high work rate, man. He will break down Valdez. Valdez has been in wars, and we've seen how Valdez reacts to these wars, and he's been dropped by lesser punchers. So I got Berchelt, bro. TKO.
Berchelt, TKO. Tell us what you think.